Hello and welcome to another duel video from the Portsmouth WCQ Regional taken before the coronavirus lockdown. On the left you're going to see SPYRAL piloted by myself, and on the right we have Crusadia Dragons. So kicking off game 1 we're going to see Crusadia starting. Now this deck is surprisingly consistent. There hasn't been an enormous amount of change with it recently. It's basically just turbo through your magiest plays until you get into your LP for Red MD, and then this is obviously pre-errata for Red MD because in the TCG we still don't have an errata, and this event even took place before that errata was even announced. And just go through as many SPYRALs as possible to build yourself up a perfect hand, then end on with like an Equimax and maybe a couple more negates, perhaps like a Boral Savage or something alongside it. Plus, the deck has a great ability to play very few hand traps and go first and turbo your way into sculpting your hand such that you have a better hand trap lineup. And we see the Pisty bringing back the Red MD and extra extenders here with the Destrudo there, allowing him to go into a second YuGiOh without using that Arborean that's currently on the field. But I suppose he doesn't actually need it at the moment, he can just use it to go into the Regulax. This is an interesting one. I haven't actually seen very many Crusadia decks that would turn a YuGiOh plus a monster into Regulax and then trigger that Regulax to get themselves the trap. That trap's actually very useful because it will allow you to get a search for an extender in the following turn and also make your Equimax live as well. So he's going to end on Equimax, Trap Set, and a Dawn Dragster here, which is a pretty decent board. So it allows him to have 2 negates, and on top of that, he's got just a very strong monster and an extender for the following turn. And he's still got one other card in hand apart from that World Legacy Secrets that he added. But Dark Rule No More is going to entirely shut off the board, so unless the card in hand can somehow respond to that, his board just does nothing here. He does have an Ash for my Foolish Burrow Goods, but now he literally only has one card left in hand. That card is known to be World Legacy Secret, so not Secret, sorry. What's the one, you know, the one that special summons from the graveyard to a Link Monster's Arrow. So just going through the usual combo here pretty much. Quick fix into the Big Red, and then go from there with adding all the missions and linking off as per usual. I do have the liberty of making the Master Plan trigger early here, because I know that he doesn't have another Ash Blossom available. Every card is known, so I can just actually get that off earlier without having to go through the usual line. However, it does mean I can't do the Barricade Borg blocker play with the way that I'm actually going to end up doing this. Because I'm prioritizing breaking apart his board through various other effects instead. So Super Agent, this is a mistake on my part. I attempted to use the Super Agent because I incorrectly added the Last Resort off the Quick Fix instead of the Drone. So Drone should have been added first, and then the second summon of Quick Fix should have got the Last Resort. That way I'd have the top of his deck stacked already. So the Unicorn is going to spin away the Equimax, because I'm pretty sure he plays more than one in the extra deck anyway, so it doesn't matter about destroying it necessarily. I can then build up to a bigger board. Now this list that I'm playing here doesn't actually play Tri-Gates, so it doesn't matter if the combo is slightly more unusual. I'm not trying to put so many materials onto the board as some of the other versions. You can see he mistakenly reveals the top few cards of the deck here, so I'm just clarifying the effects. I'm not sure he's super used to how SPYRAL operates. Princess Sprite pulling that Mind Control was actually very useful because it means an additional material and eating up the FA Dawn Dragster without actually having to destroy it or get any other effects off. Just considering which board to make, I do want to remove that trap so he literally has nothing left, although I can't do any damage this turn. I do have the option of just attacking, but I have some dead cards in hand, so it seems like a better option to make the Cerberus and then use the Cerberus effect to get rid of it. Because this evenly match that I currently have in hand, there's no way that that's going to be live in his following turn. Literally all he has left is that the one that I still can't remember the name of, the spell which revives one, and it only helps him if there's an arrow pointing to his field. So he's just kind of trapped under the stuff at the moment. The resort is going to shuffle back the souls. Potentially should be something else actually, but it shouldn't really matter too much because my board is so strong at the moment with Appaloosa for 2, Cerberus Phoenix and Sleeper. Just considering his options, and he decides to scoop it up. On to game 2 then, and once again we're going to see Crusadia starting off. This is a going second spiralist on the left that I'll be piloting for this anyway. And a kind of mirror of what happened in the first game, once again going into the Magius, being able to trigger it and getting himself a Draco and an add back and go straight into the LP. And then being able to move it with that Sparta means he can open up the place into the Red Eyes Darkness Meta Dragon. Now the game plan for me is very similar to game 1 basically. I didn't decide in hand traps if I recall correctly, because I don't think they do an awful lot against it. I mean, potentially Gamma could be pretty impactful, but it doesn't seem like a DD Crow is going to have an enormous impact here. So instead, we see him carrying through his plays, and there are going to be no interrupts from me. So my priority is basically open a hand that allows me to combo, and simultaneously do a little bit of a board wipe, and just be a little bit careful around the siding, because, you know, siding strategy has happened now. There could be potential changes from the Crusadia side of things. Maybe he's going to play a little bit differently, but it looks like so far the combo has been very, very similar to the first one. He has got a Gamma Seal on board, which is a potential danger if he puts up the Kyoto Waterfront, but so far he hasn't put it down, and it seems unlikely he wouldn't put it down as soon as possible so that your Gamma Seal becomes live. So maybe nothing to worry about with this one. It might just be an additional body on the board for the moment. So he's already gone into the Equimax here, searched off for the trap already, and he's going to build up a rank 4 it looks like. So yeah, Tornado. A bit of an interesting choice because it does hit the resort, which is not too bad. And it can potentially hit the last resort if there's no resort already on the board, but it's a bit of a strange one to be honest. And once again, I open up the Dark Rule No More to break his board. And start off with the Foolish Bearer of Goods. There is no Ash this time around to stop that one. And we can see actually in his hand he does have a Droll and Lockbird. But I don't play around it. I start off with a Terraforming. He's going to respond with a Droll after that lands. So I do search the resort. I don't pretend I'm going to search the Mystic Mine there. He just didn't quite understand how the interaction happens with Droll. And it does kind of suck because I do have this master plan which I can put on board, but I'm not able to get any searches off with it. And now that I've added the resort as well off that Terraforming, I'm not actually able to get even the double search off it, which is really a shame. I think if you are opening with this hand, you should probably play around the Droll a bit, and instead of doing the line that I played, activating the Terraforming, instead just straight up go for the Master Plan and the Souls and get the double search off your Master Plan, because that's a much better way of doing it. However, I think for my hand I was attempting to just sort of go through more stuff. There is a set card there for me, which is now a potential target for his Tornado Dragon, but it is in fact a mission rescue anyway. So he is gonna revive a Crusadia Draco here, bring back the Leonis, and take a quick look through my graveyard. I was able to actually just attack over the other one there, which is a bit weird. So he has Monster Reborn targeting my Master Plan. I then chain the Mission Rescue to add it back to hand. He decides not to chain the Tornado there, and just allows it to resolve, which is a little bit strange. So he's now just put the Rescue in the grave for no real reason. It doesn't actually benefit him in any sense. Maybe he doesn't just quite understand it. So Link Rebo will reduce his Aquamax down to 0. He's then going to negate that, I believe. Well, no, okay, he doesn't negate it, he just continues to attack. And just moving through here. Have a rescue, bringing out the Master Plan when Master Plan attempts to activate. Is he going to negate it? He has the option, yep, he negates that by getting rid of the Draco. Now, importantly, Equimax does not negate and destroy, so I get to maintain some board presence. However, I have an evenly matched, which is the only board wipe, so I actually have to attack with my Master Plan into his Leonis. They're both on 1200, so they crash, and just keep in mind, if you're not following really closely, that Master Plan was actually summoned during his end phase, so this is all fine here. That evenly wipes the board, leaving him with only the Aquamax left. Interesting choice for him to keep that. Perhaps it is the best one, given that it opens up more of your engine, and if you have that spell, you can bring back your guys anyway. And then I'm able to begin comboing off, but obviously I do have that resort already on the board, so I have to get rid of that basically some way or another. And just considering the line of plays, one rescue is banished already, as is the assault, so the only spell trap that can be searched off the master plan is the rescue, which is now I believe in hand already. So I just go straight for the double helix here, and then get the revive of the quick fix by discarding that rescue, so that I have 2 materials essentially from there. Since there's no easy way to summon the drones anymore, I add the last resort here, and the play is really just, can I make Appaloosa backed up by a sleeper? Now I do have to out the Aquamax without doing any damage, which is fine. It shouldn't be too challenging. I can use the unicorn to shuffle back the resort and get myself some additional access, go into the Appaloosa here, and then trigger the master plan and get the double search off. Once again, unicorn shuffling back the resort is actually crazy important. It's even tempting me to play a second one, but I don't think in this particular build there's actually the space. If you've watched the other matches, you would have seen instant fusion come down, and because of that I am playing 2 spots for that instant fusion there. The super agent does resolve here, just getting some free information, and then the sleeper comes out and I have the ability to get rid of his Aquamax, and just double checking that there's no protection for like the Reclusia or anything. I can't actually do any damage here, but the board is super strong and he's just gonna admit defeat there. So that's it for round 4 from the Portsmouth WCQ. After this we're going to be moving on to the top tables. So table 1 for the remaining 3 rounds, and letting go of the Spiral Dream this time around, even though we did take home the win. So thanks guys for watching, let me know what you think in the comments section, and I'll see you guys in the next video.